Hey, it's Moon from New Zealand, sending some love to all the amazing mums out there. You're listening to CKMS 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo.
You're listening to CKMS 102.7 FM Waterloo, and that was The Web of Life by Snow Raven. We are Two White Feathered, Lori Gentle Eagle, Cedar Bear, and the other fur babies. This is the Red Road Journey, where we aim to amplify Indigenous voices to heal ourselves, our relatives, our communities, and our planet. We are broadcasting you from the traditional territories of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee people.
We are dedicating today's show to all those collaborative spirits who came together this week and shared their gifts and abilities, knowledge and wisdom, skill set, resources, to stand tall for transformative justice for all our relations. Whether you were coming from the standpoint of decolonizing and or indigenizing, we see you and we are grateful for your contributions. The theme for today's show is solidarity, the force that moves history forward. It is about standing together when the odds are stacked against us, refusing to let anyone fight alone, and recognizing that when one of us is exploited, the rights of all of us are at risk.
Solidarity does not have to be more about politics or ideology. It can include everyday acts of kindness, such as checking on someone who is struggling, standing up for a friend who is being bullied, showing understanding and encouraging voices of living experiences, helping an elder with gardening, or a person with a limited mobility clean up their yard, donating time or money to a cause, acknowledging biases and limitations of being open to unlearning them, building networks of support, using your privilege to make a difference. The purpose of solidarity is to embody mutual care and concern of justice, and sometimes it builds a movement. It works best when we respect each other's differing needs and understanding that there are many ways of being in solidarity, and coordinate our responses of resistance.
Finding Common Ground is one of 30 Ontario Community Changemakers projects supported by 880 Cities and the Balsam Foundation, quote, to activate public space, enhance civic engagement, and or to foster social inclusion in communities, end quote. Two White Feather was selected as a changemaker, and with help from Lori and Cedar, the emotional support dog, it has been taking shape since November 2024. The original proposal was to build a lodge and teepee as an act of solidarity to alleviate mental health and physical safety issues at the encampment on 100 Victoria Street, improve physical living conditions, and break the cycle of chronic homelessness, demonstrating that this mimics and perpetuates the traumatic displacement of Indigenous folks. In the fall and winter months, A Womb with a View joined forces with Fight Back KW to provide outreach efforts, and we coordinated events such as gifting stockings for the soul, decorating a tree of warmth, and cooking up and sharing a holiday feast. A yurt and tent teepee with fire stack was purchased, but it was not able to be put up on site as anticipated. The spring saw a shift in our energies, which we committed to showing up at organizing efforts around punitive measures that the powers that be are hell-bent on enforcing, without regard for any of the 7 grandfather teachings, or they're also known as the 7 sacred laws that guide us towards Minnow Bin Madiswin, or living the good life. On Thursday, we joined forces with the Unsheltered campaign to show solidarity with other members of the Ontario Encampment Justice Coalition. And we stationed ourselves at the site of the future transit hub to do an information blitz about Bill 6 and the bylaw affecting 100 Vic residents. There were petitions to sign and an opportunity to be part of artivism. And by that, what we mean is we invited people to write a phrase or word on a ribbon, which we then hung on a scarecrow that we made. And the scarecrow's arms represented the harms that these government actions are doing and will continue to spread to those who are most vulnerable.
As a part of Project Finding Common Ground, A Womb with the View attended the People and Planet rally at the Kitchener City Hall yesterday. The harms of Bill 5 were added to this discussion of Bill 6 at the encampment bylaw. We are going to play some of the audio clips to show what demonstration looks like.
What democracy looks like. That was one of the chants that we were saying yesterday.
Yeah. So we're going to hear is climate storyteller, I'm not sure if I'm saying this name right, Karishma speaking. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get her. And then After that, we're going to play Red Winter while Lori Gentiligo can find the other speaker after that. So,
person and learn how to talk about it, which is like a lot of us here are non-policy people. Like, how do we talk about what's going on, right? So for me, I was trying to compare it to what's going on. Donald Trump was elected, right? And then Doug Ford was elected recently, basically on the basis that he's not Donald Trump, right? That he was wearing his Canada's Not For Sale hat, and he got elected on that basis. I learned that in his first 100 days in office, Donald Trump signed 140 executive orders, actually more than that. And Bill 5 is Doug Ford's way of doing exactly that. Like, I see a sign over there saying Trump would be proud. Yeah, right? And Bill 5 is his way of doing absolutely whatever he wants, whenever he wants. I learned that no provincial or municipal laws, it didn't seem real in my head, right? Like labor laws, environmental laws, even like city level noise laws and tax laws. He can exempt all of those things. It didn't feel real when I was learning as a communications manager, like, how do I talk about Bill 5? It didn't feel real to me. The special economic zones, I mean, at work we call them site fights, when we go to specific locations that are facing threats from the provincial government, try to build grassroots power there. So we're in Dresden, we're trying to fight the dump that Doug Ford's trying to push there. Yep. We're in Brantford, where there's an area called Dotney Creek. There's a wetland complex there that they're trying to pave over, and if they are successful in doing that, if he designates that as a special economic zone, then that'll actually affect the Grand River, which runs right through Cambridge and Kitchener here. And then I think about that, and I think it's not in our backyards, but it's not in our backyards yet, because he could come for Vic Park. He could come for Homer Watson Park. He could come for our market building. Like, this bill would allow him the power to do kind of whatever he wants, which was, again, like, so hard for me to wrap my head around. And I guess I actually, I heard on TVO, the podcast, that Ontario is the worst and most difficult jurisdiction in all of North America to build housing. And that's not because we have a lack of space, that's because of our legal environment here. Ontario is the most difficult place to build housing in all of North America. And here we have Doug Ford trying to ban fourplexes and multiplexes and then criminalize people who can't find housing. It's like, shame. It's unfathomable to me, because Bill 5 and Bill 6 and Doug Ford's cabinet in general is making Ontario really, really attractive. It's making Ontario a cash cow for people, his rich, wealthy friends that own multi-million and billion-dollar companies, the type of money that we'd never see in our lives, most of us. Making Ontario a cash cow for them and making it difficult for us, people that live in Ontario, people that really run our cities and turn the wheels of our society, taking our precious places and spaces and rights away from us. And I think, just to echo what other folks said, we have fought him before. Like, we've come together and stood up to a bully. We talked about the Greenbelt. I was there at Binghamton's in July, or was it September of 2023, and I know some of you were too, where we stopped Doug Ford entering his own event. Like, he pulled up. He pulled up in his big black Chevrolet, and we blocked the road. He couldn't get in. Like, he had to turn around. And he backpedaled, right? Like, he kind of put his tail between his legs and backpedaled on that. If we can fight him then, we can fight him now. That's all I've got to say. It's really nice to see everyone. And, yeah, let's keep going.
and here is Drezus Red Winter. Hook ya.
Making money off our land and we ain't even on the guest list. carry on traditions of a racist ass pilgrim. And I know you really love it when my people play the victim, cause it makes it seem like you're falling under pressure. But we up to bat now, no more play your catcher, cause we see the bigger picture that we have to capture. See how quick we get together, man, we out to get you. You can lock us in jail and throw away the key, take away my rights, but you ain't stopping me, cause I've been quiet for too long, it's time to speak.
Oh, yeah.
For something to keep us free. I'm out on no more. I'm out on no more. I'm out on no more. Yeah, I'm out on no more. I'm getting aggravated. My people saying chill. I feel my heart breaking, but I don't need your pills. I need my people strong, with hearts of many men. He letting women die outside of the parliament. Opposition's only sided for their benefit. The only ones we really got is us, and that's so evident. Before you take a stand, remember to get educated. Once you understand the message, go and share it with your neighbors. Basically, we getting taken hostage for our land till we sell it out for profit. Now they got the upper hand, but trust me, we can stop it. I'm thanking the four sisters. Dear Mr. Harper, we all coming to get you, and we won't stop for nothing. We're bringing all of our cousins, and we getting educated. So this fighting ain't for nothing. Stand up for your people. Our time for power is coming. I'm a full-blooded native. Believe me, I'm proud of it. Hey, you can lock us in jail and throw away the key, take away my rights, but you ain't stopping me, cause I've been quiet for too long. It's time to speak. We gotta stand for something to keep us free. I'm out on no more. I'm out on no more. I'm out on no more. Yeah, I'm out on no more. You are the spark that's starting a fire that will spread across this land. And it'll be a fire that doesn't burn, but a fire that cleanses. A fire that ignites in our hearts and creates light. No more living in darkness. Our time now is to be light in the world. Everyone who is here today, you are a spark that will ignite 1,000 more people.
So our next speaker is Amelia from the U of W Climate Justice Ecosystems.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up here because I'm 5'2". All right, I am Amelia Upper. I study the environment, which means I'm constantly having a crisis about one thing or the other. And I am one of the co-leads for the Climate Justice Ecosystem at the University of Waterloo. And I am pissed as hell. Oh my God. I've been to over 50 protests in the last 2 years. Half my free time is protesting. And I want to call it what it is, which is fighting a much larger enemy than just Bill 5 or just Bill 6. The rise of fascism is very, very quickly coming upon us. We use words like, ooh, we're in the Hunger Games, or ooh, this is so dystopian. But like, it's for real. We need to look around us at what's happening. And I need us to look critically and be brave and learn about the politics of what has happened in the past and how it is bleeding into the future. A few things I wanted to point out is that our systems of oppression are deeply connected. We have sister struggles between houselessness and genocide and climate change. And as much as we can do a land acknowledgement in Parliament, or for as much as we can not step on our snails, it does not change the fact that we need to use our privilege to do what we can. Thank you. Reconciliation is not the same as land back. I can't just steal your car and be like, wow, shit, this is a great car, and then drive away with it. When we talk about climate action, when we talk about climate justice and transformative justice, I need you all to look around you and show up next time. Next time, even if you don't think you belong there, if there's a Palestine protest, if there's a pro-abortion protest, if there is a climate change protest, show up, because we have privilege in this country. I am technically a person of color. I come from Asian and white descent, and knowing the violence that half of my family gets to deal with because we are people of color versus the privilege that the white side of my family has. If you look around, there are no police officers here. At my Palestine protest that I go to, they are everywhere, and I need us to make that connection and make the connection that everyone who is here also cares about the international struggles that are happening, and that capitalism, colonialism, and climate change are deeply intertwined with each other. The last thing I'll say, because it's been a long, cold hour, but, you know, you guys warmed my heart, so it's okay, is that in this, one might call it revolution, I certainly do, we have to find joy in each other. We can't let go of the whimsy of being alive in a time like this. I know a lot of my young friends were like, wow, it's our time to be adults and the world is ending. But maybe just this version of the world is ending and something new and beautiful is happening. And I know it's happening. Anyways, stay joyful. Revolution is joyful. And show up where you can if you have the privilege to, because I sure as hell will.
And here is I Pitied the Country by Willie Dunn.
I pity the country, I pity the state, and the mind of a man who thrives on hate. Smaller the lives, the cheats and liars, a bigoted news press, fascist town crier. Deception annoys me. Deception destroys me. The Bill of Rights froze me. Jails, they all know me. Frustrated art churchmen, the saving of soul men, the tinker, the tailor, the colonial governor. They pull and they paw me. They're seeking to draw me away from around us, all the light. Off my body, their trip is with power, back bacon and welfare. Police, they arrest me, materialists to test me, pollution that chokes me, movies that joke me, politicians exploit me, city life that jades me, Hudson Bay fleece me, hunting laws freak me. Government is bumbling, revolution's rumbling. To be ruled in impunity is tradition, continuity. I pity the country, I pity the state, and the mind of a man who thrives on hate.
Look, yeah, that was I Pity the Country. What a good artist, Willie Dunn. Again, I pity the country.
And the next speaker is Andrew from Fight Back KW.
Hello, everyone. I'm not usually the guy at the mic, but it's wonderful to see you all. My day job is as a postdoctoral fellow in ecological economics, so kind of the nerdy angle that overlaps with many of the causes we're seeing today. But my community organizing efforts involve assisting with labor organizing as well as community organizing, particularly with Fight Back KW. In my opinion, these little efforts of mine, done with others, multiplies their impact. I spend these efforts outside of work, even though it's exhausting, because it's clear for a long time that our capitalist government is not going to act to curtail the exploding inequality or act on the climate crisis. Fight Back KW is a mix of local anti-capitalist folks looking to move politics far to the left. The group welcomes any folks who know capitalism must go, who care deeply about the most vulnerable in our community and want to organize around concrete direct action in Waterloo Region. The primary focus over the past few years has been around organizing for and amongst the homeless community in Kitchener. Fight Back KW has been on site at 100 Victoria Street in Camden 24/7 for almost 2 months straight to ensure that the region and their contractors uphold the Charter of Human Rights and Freedoms. Unfortunately, they haven't been doing a very good effort at that. Particularly with their recently passed bylaw, which anticipates Doug Ford's horrid legislation, which we're talking about today, which has the aim of preventing people from having a site of last resort to shelter themselves. The region plans to shut down the site by December with no alternative and stick people in temporary motel rooms for something maybe like 8 months, with maybe a few gift cards for groceries. They've been filling the site with industrial dumpsters to push people out. The region's been surveilling them 24/7 for 2 years or more straight, $500,000 per year. Shelters are full and there's nowhere to go. And they're going along with Doug Ford's morally criminal edicts. There's nowhere for people to go and our community members are increasingly unhoused. The region and the province have made it clear they'd rather play whack-a-mole with human lives and imprison those trapped outside of our housing and labor markets. I also want to say something a little different, maybe a bit of a reality check for us. Doug Ford is one man. Donald Trump is one man. A system that allows these mafia-style businessmen to govern us and ram through bills like these, Bill 5 and 6, with no real public consultation or feedback is not a real democracy. We didn't get here overnight either. These individual businessmen, we didn't get here overnight because there's been decades of erosion of public institutions across the entire Western world. Orchestrated by finance and big capitalists, they've created and implemented the so-called neoliberal project in nerdy speak. This project undermines our public institutions and subordinates everything to markets controlled by the capitalists and owned by the capitalists. And of course, expanding the police and military to maintain this new status quo. Basically, this is a road to fascism. And Doug Ford and Trump are just the newest pinnacle of this increasingly strong-armed effort. Public and co-op housing, we've seen federally and provincially gutted, railways privatized, our healthcare is now starved to enable the justification and privatization of it. Our post-World War II economic consensus that we all basically have lived with our entire lives across the Western world is gasping its final breaths. All we get to do, for the most part, is elect our middle managers, who themselves are now being replaced by capitalists themselves, Doug Ford, an industrialist, Donald Trump, whatever the frig he is. We have a few lovely MPs and MPPs that have been speaking today. Absolutely love them. But we also now see so-called progressive party leaders that are now mayors, Olivia Chow, Horwath, Del Duca, behaving as cogs for the increasingly fascistic logic of this system. For example, they are all working to criminalize the homeless and restrict protest in their respective cities. It's terrible. Ridiculous. Voting can sometimes slow the damage, and that's helpful, but the system as it is cannot be fixed. A real democracy would pervade all aspects of social and economic life. Instead, we often focus on electing middle managers for this increasingly monopolized capitalist system, at least in my frank opinion. It's a trolley problem, so to speak, to resurrect that awful metaphor, except both paths lead to the same place, just one has a longer track than the other. We need to use our struggles to build organizations with real democratic power, with a real ability to build a new path forward, from the ground all the way up. We need to remember how important wins like universal health care, public and co-op housing, labor laws were originally won. They were won through collective struggle of the poor and working class, not simply the goodwill of some professional politician. We need to rediscover this and a broader history of struggle around the entire world that we're all a part of. The end of slavery began with Haiti's independence from France, not some goodwill of the British Parliament or whatever. Mass unionized and coordinated mass strikes won us labor rights and the right to union organizing. Simply having a continued existence of indigenous folks in North America wasn't free, unfortunately. They had to fight for their own existence. Continued Palestinian existence, this keffiyeh I'm wearing right now. They've been fighting for over 70 years against apartheid and colonization. And right now, a genocidal holocaust of 2 million people in Gaza, where the UN has announced that all 2 million people there are at risk of imminent starvation because of completely being surrounded by the Israeli military. Including some of our community members, relatives, they are in Gaza right now. And this is despite the Western world, but they continue to fight against this. Their existence is because they've been continuing to fight. Despite the Western world, including our liberal government, aiming the Israeli colonizers. So what am I getting at? Progress is not guaranteed. Lessons of the past show us they must be collectively fought for by the oppressed, by those most affected, via shared struggle around sources of common cause among the poor and working class, as well as indigenous folks. We're seeing early signs of revival of this lost history right here. We've been pushing back against the province, against Ford's criminal destruction of the Greenbelt, against attacks on workers' rights, against the homeless. Starbucks workers have been getting organized. Workers at the University of Waterloo have been getting organized. They're about to bargain for their first collective agreement. Thousands of them. There are folks attempting to organize tenant unions in Waterloo region. It's hard, but we're getting there. There's folks trying to organize their condo corps, their churches, their communities around important issues. Indigenous struggles and the struggle for a free Palestine, which have never stopped in their struggles, are finding a growing base of support. They're not alone. And Fight Back KW is fighting and organizing for and amongst the homeless folks in our community. So mobilizing for these protests is great, but we must also get organized, all of us. Let's stop being one step behind the big capitalists and the government that serves them, not us. If you'd like to help defend the encampment down the street, 100 Victoria Street, help with mutual aid, or help with shifts watching on site against human rights abuses and pushing back, or challenging the narrative of the region's policies, please reach out to myself or Fight Back KW on Instagram. And if this isn't your thing, pick another issue. There's lots of folks here to reach out to. Pick a cause, jump in, get organized. This is how we will win.
Okay, so I'm going to say something to about that. I really liked what Andrew said. I know him personally. He's a really good guy. Knows a lot, and he does a lot of great things for the community itself too. But I like how he said that Doug Ford, he's one man. Donald Trump's one man. Even our government is one man too. And if you ever look at the history, in some history in our lifetime, when stuff like this has happened, there's always been an uprising, if not then, soon after. And, you know, I'm not saying, and I'm not, because sometimes those uprisings can be a little harsh in some ways, but I feel that may come, and it may come sooner than what we think. So I want to say Chimigwech. Thank you to Sharon, who encouraged us to hold our government accountable by pushing back, and Isaac from the KW Youth Climate Council, who encouraged us to do more conscientious about the state of our planet, and to recognize that we are not separated from nature. Leon took the mic at the end and invited those interested in networking offline to gather every Sunday from 1 till 3 at the gazebo in Willow River Park. Before we move on into our selected playlist, we wanted to leave you with the wise words of Elder Dean Slayer, who spoke to Doug Ford this week. Do you have anything to add to that before we play?
Just to encourage people to take Leon and his wife up on the offer and head out Sundays between 1 and 3 at the gazebo in Willow River Park. There's nothing like, face-to-face interactions post-COVID days, right? Yeah. We got this. We can do this together.
Yeah. And you'll probably see us there too, so on some Sundays too. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Here's Elder Dean Slayer. We're just going to
I could go through a litany of obligations you have that are still legally in force. Somebody has been ill-advising you that what you're doing is actually aligned with law. You are breaking Ontario law, you're breaking Canada's law, you're breaking international law, and most important, you're breaking Anishinaabe law, our promises we made in witness of all creation. I'm not sure I would be so proud of that. You need to align yourself with the reality of what you actually have. When we made treaties with you, in particular our treaty, we went to that treaty and we had a canoe full of everything that we were going to exercise as our inherent rights. Our own law, our own language, our own people, our own culture, our own everything that it is, including the moose, the deer, the fish, the trees, everything. And we gave you a little bit in your canoe, a little access to natural resources. We didn't give you all of these jurisdictions you're exercising. You need to take inventory of what you have. What you need to do is take that inventory and act aligned with what you actually legally have jurisdiction over. And in the meantime, if you're going to do something on our lands, you need our permission. Read my lips. Permission. Consent doesn't rise to the bar that I need, because I don't want to misinterpret as according to UNDRIP. So let's engage, let's consult, and then maybe we'll give you our permission. If you don't get our permission, you ain't doing it. And 2014, Ontario actually came to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and they presented me with these 2 strings of wampum on your behalf, saying that we still recognize your law as Ojibwe people, as Anishinaabe, has never been extinguished, and that you're going to honor all of the promises that were made to us. So you guys inherited this. This is in witness of all of creation, from the deepest ocean where these shells came from, to our grandfather's son. Stronger than a handshake, stronger than this paper. You inherited all this. All your ancestors are watching how you behave too to these kinds of promises. We in our particular treaty territory, the Robinson-Huron Treaty Territory, we have always retained underlying title and reserved the right to say yes or no to any project. Additionally, the last thing I wanted to make mention of, that the Chicolton Supreme Court decision that came out a few years ago actually said that our consent is required where underlying title has been proven. So what you're doing with this legislation is a violation of the Supreme Court, your Supreme Court, where underlying title has been proven. You need our consent. Consent. Permission. You cannot impose this illegal legislation. You need to pull it, stop it, and work with us according to what we've delegated to you as authorities and mandates, and work from that perspective. I could go through a litany of...
Hook, yeah. So like I was saying right there, and he was just saying that too. You know, this is our land. You gotta give, you gotta get our permission to do anything. And it went to the up in higher court, Supreme Court, and they said the same thing. So I want to see them try to do this. So I think we're going to play a song before we get into the next one. And a good song right now would play the Unity song by Elder Arthur Dick. So here it is. Oops.
Now that this rock's here, things are going to change for these young leaders. You know, I kind of grew out of my hatred towards white people. You know, it was a challenge to be able to accept, you know, the non-Indian people. But I was told, you know, by my elders that our blood's all the same color, eh? But you have to learn how to use your heart to connect with your mind, to know that, how that bloodline's all the same. We come from the same earth, eh? But we have a bigger responsibility. And that's our job, to look after the land. And, you know, take it to heart and take it serious. Because you don't know what it's going to be like 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Those young kids, children around there, they're going to be the ones that know. A lot of us won't be here. So I'm going to sing this unity song, I guess in remembrance of our leaders, the chiefs. You know, ever since I was chief, I was elected in one of their positions. 1982, I was a chief. We were talking about the unity then, and we're still talking about the unity. I don't know what that means. You know, I have to say that because I thought we were all united. You know, so I just kind of want to say that. So I'm going to sing this unity song anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Wanted to say too that our friend Kelly Welch did the Unity song yesterday. She actually opened up the event with that. Unfortunately, I didn't catch that recording. So, but thank you to the elder there, Arthur Dick, for sharing a piece of that with us.
Yes, and I thought that was a good, little introduction. Well, teaching and a song to what we're talking about and what we just said previous to that. And I have no other words to say because the few people that we've just heard within this podcast already, it's all valid. Everything is what they say it is. There's no ifs. There's no buts. It is what it is. Sorry, but it is.
And to me, it really shows that we need to be listening more to lived and living experiences from all nations And as we say with A Womb with a View, all nations, all abilities, always. There's so much work to be done, and we really need to come together. It does take a village. And so we want to invite you to show solidarity in the days that follow. And here are some concrete ways that we've come up with, just a few.
That we can do. So reach out to us for a DIY scarecrow that you can make and put up in the community to raise consciousness. And now, what we'll do is when we post this, we'll put up a blurb on the scarecrow so that you guys have a blurb within the info of when we put this up on Facebook and YouTube, so that you guys do have what the scarecrow means and what it is for, what we're saying it is for.
Yeah, so be a part of the continuing artivism that we're doing with this large scarecrow and the little mini scarecrows that you can create yourselves and help us put up around community.
Yeah.
You can, of course, join our Ripple Effects circles for community helpers. And we're aiming to hold them bi-monthly. We've held a couple so far at the Civic Hub. And this is a place and space where we brainstorm and commit to reconciliation actions. For instance, one that we'll be working on this summer is building a wellness warrior peer support team, which will then act as the heartbeat, really, of the crisis response alternative that we are co-creating, known as A Womb with a View.
Yeah. And our volunteer to staff at the Crater Shelf venue or vendor booth for 1.5 hours on June 22nd, so that we can also craft with the kids at the same time. We were asked on Indigenous Day on June 22nd to craft with some of the kids there. So we were wondering if we could get someone to help us out, booth our vendor table for about an hour and a half. Now, if you do, you don't have to be there alone all the time. So if you do need help, one of us can come over and help you. But we are able to craft with the kids there. So we never say no to the kids. So as soon as there's something to do with the kids, we're there. So hopefully someone can come up and step up and maybe help us out. So that'd be great. And to help out at the community grandmother, a community grandmother in need of assisting with gardening. I'm going to try to see if I can get over there soon. But to be honest, as you guys know, we are busy. But if I could get someone to maybe come and help me out if it's two of us, I guarantee you it's not going to be no more than an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. So, I can get you transportation. And if you could help me, that'd be great. And it's our grandmother Corinne.
She's just full of love, and unfortunately has some struggles have hit her recently, and we'd really like to be able to gift this to her and relieve some of the distress.
No,
right?
Exactly. So yeah. So
now we're going to play the rest of the music. It's a great playlist that we've got here. Yep. So we're going to continue with...
So we're going to play 1,000 Ancestors by Lyla June and... can you say that?
Mitzi Begay it features.
Thank you. I was going to butcher that up if I said it. So here's 1,000 Ancestors. If I can get it. Oh, just give me a sec. There we go. Here it is. Okay.
Some big dreams, wanted to bring peace and help my family. From a small town, I could feel the gravity weight on my shoulders, made it hard to spread my wings, but I knew I could do it, knew I could push through it, could do anything if I put my mind to it. Native youth had it hard as children growing up, but with prayers in our hearts, I knew we could overcome. Got 1,000 marching on, yes, here come the army. Got 1,000 ancestors behind me. We marching on, yes, here come the army. Here come the army. Here come the army. When I turned 13, the world shattered my dreams. All I had left was a bunch of broken pieces. So many years hiding in the dark, almost drowned, but I never gave up. Creator heard my prayers in the depth of my despair. Yeah, it took a couple tries, but I stood back up. Put down the liquor, put down the drugs. I've been sober 9 years, somehow we overcome. Got 1,000 ancestors behind me. We marching on, yes, here come the army. Got 1,000 ancestors behind me. We marching on, yes, here come the army. Here come the army. Here come the army. To my knees, didn't know if she would answer. She came through clutch at the time when I needed her. Now I'm flying high, yes, I'm a believer. It's what got me through, it's what got me through. Your love, it's what got me through, it's what got me through to you. Creator, creator to you. Creator, yeah.
Way, Zanis and Zanigi, and Duncanana, Begay, not of this. Begay and Sinkist of this, Begay, Ayan and Pin of this. This Lini, Adasta, Yego Bahuria. Then Sikis, Adasta, Yego Bahuria. The rest is a teacher, Jonago. Sahna gaib ke khujon kon shad odli zanom sin kistodli or abo oda so doesn't obey the on nakta kote odli chewe.
Okay. So that was some at the end there. That was a message from elder from Denis. I'm not sure if I'm saying this this right. Denis Bizad, Bine hyphenated E Bizaad, in Navajo language. So that was a little message from her. So our next one is going to be "Won't Give Up" by Pattie, Gonia, and Quinn Christopherson. Oh my goodness. And Yo Yo Ma. So hook ya. Here it is. Yo Yo Ma. I like that.
I'm not gonna say goodbye. I won't see you on the other side. Even when I feel tired, I won't stop. You and I made both the same things. Nature running in our veins. Even when I
that was Won't Give Up on You. Our next one where we're going to go out with is going to be One World. We Are One by Taboo. Hook ya.
Chimigwitch for listening.
Chimigwitch. And we're all one. And we got to stand up as one. And here it is. Hook ya.
Up cause we all one fam. From the rest to the block, to the Perry, to the rock, we connect that love. Cause the people with power feel the power of the people when we stand as one.
Cut your stomach off the realness. We be indigenous, you heard of us. Backstabbing the murderers, spreading the love with the water and understand against ain't gotta know what the purpose is. We rise, the climate is changing, the signs of the times. It's time to start praying. Pray for the world and community. Prayers are more powerful when we're in unity.
Hi, this is Carl Weingarten, and you're listening